Welcome to week 9 training video. As always, I want to remind everybody that this is strictly for educational purposes. It is not to belittle, demean, or show up any players, coaches, fans, or officials. I have 16 plays here. We'll see if we can keep it at about 15 to 20 minutes. And we'll go ahead and get started. Play 1 is going to be a possible trip on the left side of the line. This isn't a foul, but it's close. Definitely wants to catch our attention. We see a lineman miss a block. When he goes down, he spins or rolls and lifts that leg up. He tried to get him and he missed. If he strikes him above the lower leg, gets him up higher above the knee, then you have actually striking, which is a major foul and could be an ejection. So we just want to be aware of this. Often comes from the line of scrimmage. Guys are going to be the ones who see that the most. Okay, then play 2 coming up here is a block in the back. I'm sorry, a block below the waist that we miss here. There's been some discussion, and next year with the NCAA changes, it's going to clarify some things. CFC probably can go back to the NCAA rule because it is very close to the high school rule now. So anyway, with this block is not part of the initial charge as described in the rule changes this year. There's a delay where he lures the defender into thinking he's in pass protection, and then he cuts him. So this is something that we would want called because it is not part of the initial charge and not an instant block. Definitely puts the player at risk. Second part to this play is here at the end. This is borderline foul, but it's something we definitely want to talk to the guys on. Let them know that we saw that. He goes by him, he lights him up. And really there's just not a reason for that. Play's over, he knows it. He's not looking to do anything but hit somebody. So we want to at least get in and let him know. Okay, play 3 is, got a few plays here that are going to be some examples of what would not be targeting, that are just good blindside blocks. Play 3 is an example of what would not be considered a foul for a blindside block for targeting. And that's just a good block from the side. It's actually, again, I know there's a lot of discussion whether the force needs to be there or not. This is for a different day, but by rule, this is a legal block. So you've got a sweep going the opposite way. The defender doesn't see him coming, but he does get his target down. He uses his shoulder and hits him in the chest, which would not be a foul. Okay, here's another example of what would not be a targeting on a blindside block. Now, same thing, we've got a play going the opposite way to the other side. Blocker sees the guy, has him in his sight, knows that he's not looking, but again, he hits him on the shoulder here. And that's not a foul. You would need to hit him in the head or neck area with forcible contact, and that for it to be a 9-1-4, a hit to the head or neck area on a defenseless receiver. So again, that's not a foul. Blindside block, legal. Second part to this, it's an unfortunate play here, but it actually looks like this guy stumbles. He's in position where he can blindside. He's seeing the opponent come his way. He knows he's not looking, so he's in prime position for a blindside block here. Unfortunately, he never gets there because he actually stumbles. And as you see right here, he steps, slips, It's an unfortunate accident here, and I hope this player's okay, but he actually cuts him. And he is hurt. Of course, they're looking for a flag. It's not intentional. He stumbles. Clearly, you can see it right there. He just falls forward. But we definitely would support a flag on that. Not that it changes the injury by any means, but intentional or not, does cut him in the knee there. So hopefully that player is okay. Another play where there's just a very good job. So I think some of the players might be getting the message here. There's an opportunity to, again, on a blindside hit, and this player does a very good job of using his shoulder. And you catch the guy off balance a little bit, and it doesn't take much of a hit to propel him. Again, he may not have to hit with much force. But right now the rule is what it is, and as long as the hit is below the shoulder, the head or neck area, and it's not forcible contact to the head or neck area on a defenseless player, then these are not fouls. Right there, you see, he just sticks his shoulder out, blocks him, knocks him out of the way, and then goes on. Second part to this here is another position, guys. Trailing. A lot of times you'll see a guy go and try to punish someone here. This is a very good job by this blocker to just get in the guy's way and kind of just stick his arm out, give him a little push, and that's it. No reason to light him up, no reason to be dirty. So when I see stuff like that as an official, I like to go and tell the players, hey, good job. You could have hurt him, you had an opportunity to tee up and you didn't. Nice job. Just let them know that you're looking, you see that, and you appreciate good, clean play. Yeah, play 6 here is a correct no call. And I believe, I didn't hear anything, but I believe there was a couple of fouls called for unsportsmanlike after this. I think the coaches wanted a block in the back on this. This is not a block in the back. Everybody, it's clearly from the side. Block in the back, you need to see one hand, at least one hand, if not both, clearly in the back, which will propel him. Now these ones they're on the shoulder. The shoulder is still part of the side. It's not the back. And often these are miscalled and ruled as blocks in the back, and especially at the speed, they look like it. When you get used to seeing these in real time, those are not blocks in the back. So we want to stay away from these, and this official does a very good job of not calling it. He takes a little bit of heat afterward. I know, again, the coaches weren't happy, but that is not a foul we would want called. We want to see him propel the guy past the runner with a hand or two directly in the back, pushing him past him. So again, good job by this official to not call it. The play 7 is, this is defensive offside unabated. We've talked about it a couple times this year. He gets even with that offensive player, even though defensive offside is a live ball foul unless there's contact. It's something like this. He is even or beyond the offensive lineman. Nothing good is going to happen. He's going to have a clear shot to the quarterback and hurt somebody. So even though he's starting to retreat, we don't know that. We don't want to anticipate. So just go ahead and shut that down, and this head linesman does a very good job of doing that. He actually is one of the other pieces to it as well. As you see, he's already hustling in. We need to show urgency when we have false starts. We want to crash in, blowing our whistles so that all the players stop. We don't have any extracurricular activity, and reduce the potential for any late hits or things that happen when players don't know the play is over. So it's a very good job by this line of scrimmage guy as well. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about formations here. This is an illegal formation called on the kicking team here. Now, again, there might be some confusion. I've heard a couple of different questions, but offensive linemen, their head has to break the butt of the center. So the center could be out in front of everybody else, but the guards and the tackle, in order to be on the line, their head must break the butt of the center. Now, we don't want to split hairs, so if the very tip of his helmet is touching the very furthest back point of the center's rear end, but there's no gap and they're close, borderline, get in and talk to them and just tell them to scoot up a little bit. If there is clearly a gap where you can see daylight between the center's rear end and the guard and tackle where their head is, then that wouldn't even be a warning. That would just be a illegal formation for too many in the backfield, or that he's not up on the line. So you would want to hopefully prevent this if you can. This is the first time this was seen, so not a lot of opportunity to do it. But again, their head must break the butt of the center. If they're in a 2-point stance, they've got to be that much closer. If they go down to a 3-point, them leaning, it's okay. Don't split hairs, but this can be a clear advantage. When they start forming that flock of seagulls look, or a bow where they are protecting the kicker and the holder, no one has a legitimate chance to block that. That is an advantage. So let's make sure that this is fair and on the line and legal. Okay, and as you see here, the right guard and tackle are almost 2 yards back. Okay, play 9 is been waiting for one of these for this season and just haven't had a good example, but this is perfect. Remember, when a quarterback or a runner slides and gives themselves up when they go foot first, it is not where they touch, or because it's down by contact, they don't get to just slide into home and get a 6-foot spot. It is by rule where the spot is when they begin their slide. Not when they touch, but when they first drop down to begin that slide. You'll see in this example, he's short about the 2-yard line, between the 1 and the 2, and he slides into the end zone. And it's very tough, it's very fast, so that's why watching video and studying things like this will definitely help you. But a good philosophy to go on when you have a sliding quarterback is where his butt hits, go back 2 yards, and you're almost always going to be right. You can also, it's just tough to tell where they started to begin that. So wherever you think it is, where he hit, go back 1 yard or 2, and you're going to be pretty close to where he started to begin that slide. Okay, you see he starts that right. Okay, right at about the 2-yard line. He's already starting to go down. His feet are around the 2. So right about the 2, 1.5 to where the ball is, right around there would be fine. But this is not, by rule, a touchdown. And the second piece to this, of course, he throws the ball to the opponent. It kind of goes by him. The opponent's going to the line of scrimmage guy to ask if that's a touchdown or not. He's not. It didn't generate any ill will, didn't get a reaction out of the opponent. If it hits the opponent, you definitely got a foul for a taunt. It misses him, no reaction. I definitely would like to see somebody chase this guy down and tell him to knock that off, not to do it again. Even though he's running off, anybody that saw that, it's okay to run him down to the sideline, call his number, and just tell him, hey, don't do that. Let him know you're there. Let him know you saw it. Don't yell at him. Don't get angry with him. Just explain to him, hey, you can't do that, and that you saw it, and next time it will be a foul. But again, if it hits the opponent, definitely flag it. If it creates a reaction, you definitely would be supported for a flag for taunting, and that would be enforced either on the extra point or the kickoff. Okay, play 10 as an example of what is not offsides on the kickers. Remember, only if they are in a trick play is when everything must be 100% legal. If they're doing an onside kick or a pooch kick, then there's no leeway for being offside. They're kicking it deep. We're not going to split hairs here. He's right as the ball's being touched. He's maybe a half step. We don't worry about that. Talk to him. Tell him to hang back. Tell him to be a little slower. But again, this is not a trick play, so it doesn't have to be under the same scrutiny. Just talk to him. Good no call. Good correct no call by the officials there. Play 11 is an example of ineligible downfield. Excuse me. Just to be clear, we don't want to split hairs on ineligibles downfield. Now, there's a difference between the run-pass option versus just a straight drop back. You have a sprint option or a run-pass option. The tackles or the lineman will fire out as if it's a run and go right to 3 yards to draw the linebackers up, and then quarterback dumps over the top. Well, that's a hard and fast 3 yards. So if they're over a little bit 3 yards, we want to flag that. This is not deception. This is not a run-pass option. This is just a busted play, kind of a rollout. So we give a little bit more leeway. If he's 4, we want, we probably, especially on the backside, still give a warning at about 4. Once they start getting 4.5, 5, 6, 7, we definitely want to flag. So here's one on the backside, and we actually have 2 flags on it. The line of scrimmage and the umpire both get it. You see the ball snapped here at the 30-yard line. And remember, it's where the lineman is when the ball is released, not where. A lot of times guys will catch it late. The ball's already in the air, halfway, it's at its highest point, it's halfway downfield, and they'll look and see somebody. And sometimes they can be moving pretty quickly. So if you don't see it, you got to pass on it. You have to know where he is when the ball was thrown. So that guy, now he's at 5, and the ball has just come out of the quarterback's hands, and he's a little over 5 yards. That's what we would want called. Play 12, it's just something that we want to do all times, even though there's not a lot of action that goes here. We have a false start or any dead ball foul. We want to come crashing in, showing some urgency. We should be blowing our whistles and veering back towards the referee. We want everybody to know that this play is shut down and not have any doubts. If somebody tees off and hits somebody, could get in a position where we now have a flag. And not saying we can prevent it, but it is a good piece to preventive officiating. A lot of times that whistle and you crashing, and your presence will stop that. So just show a little bit of urgency when we do have false starts, offside, anything. Come crashing hard to the referee. Stay on that whistle. And then play 13 is, it's just very good mechanics by this line judge here. Got a loose ball, fumble, there's a scrum. He comes crashing in hard. And I'm sure he did it before he got in, but remember, and actually, if he knows who has the ball, we don't want to, but be ready for the clock. If we're going to have a dig, if we get to that point, somebody needs to be helping stop the clock. But he goes in, he's the first one there. One thing I'd be careful of is with guys with helmets, make sure that you let them know you're there and you don't be directly behind them. You hate for them to jump up, split your nose, or split your lip with their helmet. So be verbal, but this is a very good job, very good presence by this line judge to get in there. And now I know they're verbally telling them. Once they find it right away, the referee tells them we've got third down, and they're up. And just like that, everything's cleared. And that's all because of the good presence shown by the line of scrimmage official there. Play 14 is, this is one we miss, unfortunately. Now remember, we have a helmet off, and it is not due to a helmet foul. So even if a helmet comes off, but you were clipped, you don't get to stay in the game because you were fouled against. It has to be a helmet foul that would allow you to stay in the game. Otherwise, if your helmet is off and there's no foul, the player must leave the game for one play. So if we don't see it, we don't see it. But we just hate for players to sit if it's something that we miss. So let's try to stay with our keys a little bit longer. If we see the potential, a threat like this, we may want to keep an eye on it. Pulls his helmet off, even the player's saying, what? Now at this point, what's surprising is there's not any further action. There's no fight. I don't know if the helmet was loose. It's hard to tell because I'm not there, not up close, can't hear what's going on. Normally we'd put something like this in the game report, but it's odd that they are not fighting or angry. Usually a guy gets his helmet ripped off, they're kind of, something's happening. So just in case, get in the habit, you see something like that, deep official, go in there crashing hard, go all the way in. You may have to get in between them. You don't have to get all the way. If you're using your voice, you're coming in, they may stop, but make sure that you get in there, show some urgency, and let them know that you're there. And now for play 15, this is just good mechanics and good communication with this crew. What we have is the ball snapped at the 25-yard line, and we've got a pass behind the line of scrimmage. Okay, but we've got guys blocking downfield. He's 2 yards downfield, the ball's in the air. So that would be pass interference. Okay, and we do end up having a flag in the middle of the field. The crew correctly gets together and talks. Back judge is the one that throws it, comes up and asks if the ball crossed the line or not, and of course they agree that the ball did not cross the line, so therefore we have a running play, so there is no pass interference for that. They pick up the flag and explain that there's no foul for pass interference and move on. That brings us to our last play of the video. This is just a good job by the referee here, even though it's not normally his call. Very good job. What we have is an illegal forward pass. Quarterback rolls out. You see where the line of scrimmage is. And because he's heading towards that pylon, line of scrimmage official retreats. And now you see he stops and last second throws a pass. And of course it's a touchdown, everybody's excited. Well, they talk, and the referee's the one that ends up dropping the flag. As he's going in, immediately caught his eye, dropped it. So it's just a very good call. Very easy for him because he's following the quarterback that way anyway. Something that obvious. Line of scrimmage guy is 8 yards off, hasn't zoned in on that yet. The referee already had it. So very good job, very good call, and good overall communication. Like a forward pass, don't forget it is a loss down as well. Great job. This concludes this week's training video. Basically, this will conclude the videos for the season. We'll possibly do a couple of short videos through the playoffs or specific targeting or holding videos. But for now, this will be it for the season. So I do want to thank everybody for all their hard work they've put in this summer. I have seen a lot of improvement and a lot of engagement from all the officials and coaches. So I want to thank everybody for the hard work and wish everyone the best of luck in the upcoming playoffs. And those working this last weekend of regular season as well have great games, several spots on the line, playoff implications. And I wish everybody the best. And for those regular officials as well, I wish you the best in your upcoming fall season that is just around the corner as well.